Welcome team. CISM exam questions part 2. Let's begin the session without any delay. Here the question number 1. If you are an information security manager, let's pick my pen here. Okay, you are an information security manager. What first step you would take when a legacy application is non-compliant with a regulatory requirement, but the business unit doesn't have the budget of the remediation? Very scenario based questions, and in fact most of the startups, most of the entrepreneurs face such kind of issues that we need to implement the control, but due to the budget problem we cannot have the capacity to implement. So let's see what are the options available here. Advise senior management to accept the risk of non-compliance. Valid point. What is option B? Notify legal and internal audit of non-compliant legacy applications. That also a valid point. Develop a business case for funding remediation efforts. Option D. Assess the consequences of non-compliance against the cost of remediation. So as we can see, all the 4 points are valid. If we talk about the budget, if we do not have the budget and we need to implement the control, but if you can check the question here, the question is asking what first step. Okay, what first step an ideal and champion information security manager used to do. So see, if we don't have the budget, okay, keep this point aside. Okay, let's see what is the risk here. So we need to first assess, okay, what is non-compliance in the application. Okay, non-compliance means, okay, let's do the risk assessment of that application and check what is the consequences of the risk assessment. Okay, and depending upon the consequences, we need to identify a control and the cost related to that control. So this is the ideal scenario. So you can match in all of these 4. Option D, if you can check carefully here, assess the consequences, right? So first we need to check the consequences of non-compliance, right? That what are the result, or what is the result of the risk assessment for a legacy application, and what is the cost of remediation. So option number D is the first step, because question is asking about the first step. So option D is the correct answer, because see, whenever you face such kind of non-compliance issues, right, you can do the risk assessment of that particular case, because without risk assessment you cannot identify that what is the consequences of that asset. Okay, and then check the level of control, that how much cost is that control taking, whether that control is more than the loss or not. So option D is the correct one, which is assess the consequences of non-compliance against the cost of remediation. I hope this question is very clear for you. Next slide please. Coming to the next question. The question talks about which step is most appropriate to address an organization's security concern during the contract negotiations with a third party. Repeating this question once again, which step is most appropriate to address an organization's security concerns during the contract negotiations with a third party? Okay, let's see what are the options available with us. Review the third party contact with the legal department, communicate security control with the third party, ensure security is involved in the procurement process, and conduct an information security audit on the third party. Okay, this question is related with the vendor management or third party risk management. Okay, And the answer of these questions I had already provided, I think in the last slide, or I think in the last slides. You can so I am just leaving this question for you. Okay, you can do the comment, and after your comment I will provide the correct answer. So let's moving to the question number 3. Next slide please. Your company having facility of BYOD. What is the best approach to protect the data in the event of loss? What is BYOD? It's bring your own devices. Okay, sorry. Many organizations allow associates to carry their laptops, their mobile phones, and other assets. Okay, which ideally is not a correct approach from the organization's point of view because of the data breach potential. But few company allows, no issue. So the question is saying that your company having a facility of BYOD. Okay, what is the best approach to protect the data in the event of loss? Okay, if your laptop has been missed, then which of the options are the best approach to protect the data? Let's see what are the options available here. Option number A is the ability of remote locate device. Okay, we can locate the device by enabling GPS or any other application or method. Second is the ability of centrally managed device. That means we can manage this device centrally. Okay, that means we have a central team, right, who have a inventory that how many assets comes under BYOD, and they can encrypt all the data and all stuff. So this point number 2 talks about this one. Third option talks about the ability to restrict unapproved application. Very valid point. That is, what are the unapproved applications this needs to restrict. But this third point cannot have any sense in the event of loss. So point number 3 is out of race. Next is the ability to classify the types of devices. Again, there is no sense with the question asked, event of loss, because if you can check the question, they are asking about the best approach to protect the data in the event of loss, and these two questions are not caring about the what the question is asking. So if so guys, we have only two options. Number one is the ability of remote locate device. See, if we are able to locate the device, right, then the intruder can misuse the device till that time. So there is no sense of remote locate the device. Yes, we can collect the device later on, but before identify the devices, if intruder has gained the accesses and misuse the data. So option number 1 is also out of the race. Now only one point is left. Okay, the ability of centrally managed devices, how? Right, to encrypt the BIOS, to encrypt the data. Okay, to encrypt that how many uh, to install any applications who monitors about the data leakage or etc. So point number 2 is the right answer here. Next slide please. Question number 4. The question is asked, what is the primary purpose of including roles and responsibilities in the document? Okay, this question is relates with the GRC point of view. GRC. Okay, I hope guys you have seen the information security policies. If you have not got a chance, you can connect with me. I will guide that what are the types of or how it looks like. So the question is asking the primary purpose of roles and responsibilities in the document. Okay. Option says about to comply with the policies. To comply with policies means an organization have a certain having certain policies that to comply with the in-house organization's policy, we need to include the roles and responsibilities. That also fine. We can consider it. Option number B, to identify the individual's responsibilities. Individual's responsibility means, example, ABC is organization. Okay, ABC is an organization having 1000 resources, 1 to 3 resources. Okay, having multiple domains. This organization having like security domain, right? For example, email domain, right? Example, SOC domain. Okay, like like a Citrix domain, messaging domain, other domains as well. Okay, so how many associates are managing the security domain, right? How many resources are managing the compliance domain, right? How many are SOC domains? So according to the roles and responsibility, how can we hire the or associates? How? Because the roles and responsibilities are defined, and we need to check whether individual associates are compatible for that particular job or not. Okay, so so this question talks about this, that roles and responsibilities identify, it helps us to identify the individual's responsibilities to check whether that particular candidates are eligible for that job or not. Very valid point. Option C is increase corporate accountability. Increase corporate accountability. Okay, guys, corporate accountability means, guys, there is a matrix, right? I'm not exactly remembering. I think it's RACI matrix. Yes, RACI matrix. RACI. Okay. Responsibility, accountability, confirmed and informed. So option number C talks about RACI matrix. Corporate accountability. See, corporate accountability is actually handled by only one person, and that one person roles and responsibility doesn't talks about the policy, because if you could check the question is asking about roles and responsibility in a document, and corporate accountability details we cannot include in document part. So option number C is out of race. Option number D is to give trainings, absolutely out of the race, because we cannot include roles and responsibility just to provide the trainings. So option number A and B is in race to comply with the policy. Okay. Option number B, to identify the individual responsibility. If you can check the questions, right, we have generally means that how capable our resources is, right? How can we include how much our resources are compatible, whether they have potential to do that job or not. So option number B is more closure according to the question. So option number B is the right option here. Next slide, please. Question number 5. The question talks about vulnerabilities and threats are necessary to measure. Okay. Vulnerabilities and threats are necessary to measure. Option A, to analyze the security investments. Uh, for security investments, right, we cannot dig and drill the threats. So option number A is completely out of race, right? Because we have no interest in unusual investments. If we need to do the security investments, then there are multiple ways to identify the investment. So option number A is completely out of the race. Option number B, to measure the estimate risk. Estimate risk of organization. This option number B makes sense here. Of organization, ORG. Okay. To measure the estimate risk, that means vulnerabilities and threats we are measuring to identify the estimate risk of organization, that what is the risk level of our organization, whether does it stand in market or not, right? Because in market every organization have a risk level, right? Few organization having very high high severity of risk, some are reliable, and some are more safer. So to identify the vulnerabilities and the threats, these are necessary because it helps us to measure the estimate risk of organization and to identify the risk score, risk score of organization, RSO. So option number B is is very much considerable till now. Coming to the next point, that is C, to set the controls and goals. To set the control and goals. This option is also bit closer, but these is not exactly as more value than B. So we are keeping this option number C as cross. Option D is none of the above. So this is also correct because we have option number B, who is more closure with respect to the question asked. Vulnerabilities and threats are necessary to measure Y to identify the estimate risk of organization, RSO. Next question, please. If you are a manager, what will your what will be your focus for developing and critical systems storing high confidential data? Guys, one more thing. These questions are real faced CISM. Okay, CISM. These questions are real previous year since last 10 years coming questions in CISM exams. So don't take it lightly. If you are not able to understand anywhere, right, do comments. I will let you know, or you can also connect me if you require. Back to the question. If you are a manager, what will be your focus on developing a critical system for storing high confidential data? Options are: risk should be residual and accepted. Valid point. Avoiding identified threats. Avoiding identified threat. That means we are not taking serious the identified threats. So question number B is out of risk. Option number C, comply with the regulatory requirements. Valid point. So till now we have A and B in race. D is none of the above. Back to the question again. What exactly question is asking? You are a manager. Okay. What will your focus for developing a critical system for storing high confidential data? See, we need to develop a server, for example, who is supposed to storing very high confidential data. Okay. So what is your primary focus? Okay. My primary focus is to the risk associated with the server, okay, should be identified and acceptable. So the risk related to this particular server should be identified, identified, it should be closed, okay, it should be closed, or it should be acceptable, acceptable. No risk, not a single risk associated with this server should be left alone without handled. So option number A, risk should be residual and accepted, is the correct answer here. Option number A. Coming to the next question, please. Next slide. Sorry. To analyze the vendors processing highly confidential data, which is the best way to provide the level of information security provided. Questions. This question is coming from TPRM. Again, TPRM. See, TPRM is a major branch in risk assessment part. Okay, so TPRM has very high weightage in CISM exam. So keep focusing on TPRM as well. So reading the question again, to analyze the vendors processing highly confidential data, which is the best way to provide the level of information security provided. See, the question is asking actually, we are client, okay, and we have a vendor. We have a vendor. Okay, okay, okay. what is the best way to take the information security data should be provided by the vendor back to us? Okay, what should be the methodology so that vendors provide the correct and more details information security details? What is the option number A? Option A is previously vendor performance verifications. Valid point. Include information security criteria in contract. In contract. Okay. Evaluation of vendors. None of the above. So let's discuss one by one. See, previously vendor performance verification, it includes the past SLA breaches. Okay. What is the level of service meet, for example 99%, right? Like what is the level of percentage of level that service meets to the client? It should be 90, 1997, whatever it may be. So these are the 2 points. Okay, and point number 3, most important, does this supplier has been terminated from any client or not? So these are the 3-4 questions we need to care. Okay, but in this particular thing there is no discussion of the information security, so option number B is strictly not in the race, so we are crossing A. Option number B is including information security criteria in contract, having a valid point. Okay, evaluation of vendors, which includes, see, operational evaluation, and financial evaluation, and background evaluation, right? Budget evaluation. So option number C is not much closer what the question is asking, because question is very particular with respect to information security. So option number B is more closer with respect to the question asked. Next slide for question, please. An organization, this question is very important, very logical. It will check your actual knowledge. Okay. An organization is investigating a data breach of a vendor. Which of the following is the best way to verify the evidence? I think most of the guys would able to provide the correct answers. So option number A is SIM tool, FIM, IDS, AV software. Okay. See, what is SIM tool? SIM tool is application from where they can collect the interested event from all the organization. That means it can collect the log of firewall. Okay, it can collect the log of IPS. Okay, it can reflect the log of AB. Okay, it can also reflect the log of internal server to server communication. Okay, and if we have a website, for example, who is externally facing, so how many traffics are landing, right? It can monitor the traffic monitoring as well. Okay, it can also reflect the access of AD part. That means the logging access control policy as well. So SIM tool is the backbone of any organization to monitor the traffic or any unauthorized things happening. Valid point. B is FIM, the integrity monitoring, IDS and AV. So SIM tool is the most appropriate answer here. Coming to the next question. You are ISM. ISM means Information Security Manager. You are ISM and asked to check the vendor's risk assessment on urgent basis. What is the best way to check for last 3 years? See, your organization CISO has asked you to assess the vendors in a very less time in last 3 years, that how many vendors having any issues in your organization. Okay, so in a very short span of time, and the duration is last 3 years, how can you validate? So option number A is according to the breach done by the vendors. Okay, we can take down the list number 1, list number 2, list number 3, that how many breaches are done by the vendors in last 3 years. Okay, valid point. Compensating controls to protect the information security. Compensating controls to protect the information security policies. Valid point that what are the compensating controls implement in the organization to protect the IS information security. Option number C is compliance requirement associated with the regulations, right? Who are the regulators? Okay, what are the requirements and according to the requirements. But this will make more complex. So option number C is directly straightforward, rejected. Option number D is criticality of the services. Very, very valid point because uh, example, a vendor is providing the payroll services. Payroll services, how critical payroll services is, very well, because payroll is a services from where vendors having your like bank account number, right, your debit card number, right, your IFSC code, right, your form 16 details, your income tax details. So this vendor is more, more critical. So we can filter the vendors according to the criticality of the services. So option number D is the correct one. Next question, please. For effective information security governance, which of the following is more appropriate? Regular vulnerability check, establish information matrices, advanced security technology, security aware corporate culture. Option number D is the correct one because corporate culture is the one from where we can bring the security via each associates, because security is not something just you can implement the technical devices and you are safe. No, okay, your associate should be aware that how to use, right, where should be chances of the security breaches. So the awareness of the corporate culture is very important. So option number D is the correct one. So guys, I hope you like this session. I repeat, these are the CISM real faced questions in last, with a part of previous years or last 4 5 previous year questions. Stay tuned guys, I will bring more CISM or CISA questions for you. Or if you need any guidance in your interviews, sessions, right, you can connect with me. My email ID is mentioned in my channel, or you can connect me via the doing the comment box. Okay, stay tuned guys, best of luck for your future, and goodbye, thank you.